Thank you for tuning in to watch our Invest Greater Fort Lauderdale Leadership Summit. You're about to watch panel number 1, Partnership Power, examining the role of strategic alliances in shaping South Florida's future, from ports and public works to tourism, transit, and the regional innovation economy. Enjoy.
Good morning again. Good morning. I want to give thanks to everyone on this particular day. Especially my wife and my daughter here. I want to actually just thank them for joining me.
Way to start the summer.
But now my daughter and I have had a conversation again that is important to this conversation today. Because we're talking about strategic alliances and how important collaboration is. And one lesson I gave her today, and y'all tell me if I got it wrong. Relationships. So with that said, again, we are going to start this conversation off by examining the role of strategic alliances in shaping South Florida's future. We want to talk about how the collaborative process across sectors drives economic growth and resilience in Greater Fort Lauderdale. When we talk about port expansion and tourism development, regional transportation, business development, we want to hear from some of the leaders in Broward County and in South Florida on this subject. So this morning, I'm joined by Anthony Cordo. Anthony, good morning. Anthony is the Executive Vice President of Visit Lauderdale. Also joined the Mayor, Josh Levy, for the City of Hollywood. Sandy Michael McDonald is the Director of the Broward County Office of Economic and Small Business Development. Welcome. And Joseph Morris, who's the CEO and Port Director for Port Everglades. Joseph, welcome. I've been told we got 30 minutes. Okay, so here we go, guys. Let's talk about, if you could, just share with me one impactful collaborative partnership or initiative from each of your organizations that you've been a part of, and that just tell us why it was successful. Mayor?
Yes, so thank you, everyone. Good morning. Collaboration certainly is key to success for many of our organizations. We all understand that either as individuals or as companies or governments, we don't do things alone. We can always leverage the talents and the abilities of partners to bring results for our own backyard, for our own enterprises that will, inure to the benefit of people involved. And so in Hollywood, for example, we had a long time mission, a downtown master plan that would help to make downtown Hollywood a success. For those who don't know, Hollywood is Broward County's second largest tax base at $25 billion this year, second only to Fort Lauderdale. And so we, take seriously our role in being the strong secondary market for the Greater Fort Lauderdale economic position. And along with other cities along the eastern corridor of the county, we had a goal to enhance the hub that is downtown Hollywood, both for living, for workspaces close to the beach. And we knew what it would do economically for the city and also for the county. And so, along the outside edge of downtown Hollywood and through all the downtowns up and down all of South Florida, we have the Florida East Coast Railroad, right? And for most of our lifetimes, we all just knew the railroad as one where you'd only have cargo going up and down and you wait for the freight trains to go. And then Brightline came along and everybody got so excited, myself included, to see passenger rail and recognizing how valuable it would be for people to get on and off, go to work, go to education, go to recreate, and be able to stop and kind of bring life back in a new connective way to all of South Florida. All of us, of course, desiring to, have different modes of transportation besides cars in South Florida and I-95. So Brightline was super exciting. I called the president of Brightline, said, hey, you got to come check out downtown Hollywood. We want to stop in downtown Hollywood. We have a city, property. It was just an old shuffleboard court that was existing. It was tired, and it would make a great place for a train station. So Brightline came in. They brought their real estate side. We took them around in one of our electric golf carts around downtown. They got excited, but of course, we all understood that Brightline would end up being an express train that wouldn't have stops too frequently. To get people moving quickly. So there was a stop already in the works for Aventura. Hollywood would be too close. There was already one in Fort Lauderdale. And so the city and the county and the MPO and the DOT all started talking about reviving an old idea that was always going to be now a new and innovative idea called commuter rail. And so we all collaboratively worked, all levels of government, city, county, state, to work with the privately owned railroad to now designate the railroad as one where you'd have train stations and a lot more frequent of a frequency, including in downtown Hollywood. And so that collaboration succeeded in obtaining approval by DOT, by the county, to designate downtown Hollywood for the first of many local train stations that will be across Broward County, connecting us with Miami-Dade, ultimately to Palm Beach. And so we didn't just stop there with designating it as a railroad site, even though things were still in the approval process, and they still are, but they're in a very forward position where we expect trains to start stopping in downtown Hollywood probably around 2028, and just 3 years from now. But we didn't stop there. We also had a public-private partnership proposal that came in and brought in Housing Trust Group, HTG, to build workforce housing and mixed income housing right at that train station site. Barry University, which had a nursing program in downtown Hollywood at that site as well, is now a tenant. So we're combining education, workforce housing, and transportation and public parking, all in a site that used to be a shuffleboard court that will contribute to the success of downtown Hollywood and the entire region all in one. Shows you the power of bringing people together and how we can accomplish so many goals together.
Excellent, excellent. Michael, talk to us about one of those initiatives or those collaborative events, again, that has been successful with your.
Absolutely, but it's going to be hard all morning following the passion of my friend. But I'll drill it down. Since our office is responsible for supporting business, primarily small businesses in Broward, a few weeks ago, we had our 8th annual Broward and Beyond Business Conference, over 1,000 in attendance. But the collaboration comes from the fact that it's not just Broward County government. It's our chambers, it's our cities, it's our community partners, all coming together. And for what happened a few weeks ago, to service over 1,000 small businesses. So the collaboration is necessary simply because for the services we attempt to provide, recognizing that there's over 85,000 registered businesses in Broward County, and I always throw the number out, 89% of that 85,000, including you guys and girls in the room, 89% have 20 employees or less. The reality is, to service small businesses, there's no way that Broward can do it by itself. So the collaboration is built on the service providers, the other municipalities, the chambers, and the organizations who all come together, including a special group called AERO, the Alliance of Entrepreneur Resource Organizations, who all set in to make sure that business access for what the business, especially the small business, needs is here and available in Broward. And we do this conference once a year collaboratively to make sure everyone recognizes, especially the businesses, you have support year round in Broward. But again, not just through the government, but with all of our partners.
Very good, very good.
Anthony?
Yeah. So, hi folks, I'm with Visit Lauderdale. We're part of Broward County. Just want to recognize we've got the Commissioner Hasley Rogers in the room right here. And she really empowers all of us.
I like to call her Hazel.
So we're really lucky in Broward County to be a tourism mecca. And honestly, I love it just for the fact that I get to wear tourism clothes rather than wearing a suit. So you're all dressed wrong. But we work with a lot of communities around town. You know, we're working with the 31 municipalities to see to representing tourism in each one of these communities. You know, it's a very diverse town, right? So, or county. So we want to see a closer relationship with each one of those communities to uplift that tourism opportunity in each, to get that economic spending going on in each community. And that manifests in ways like partnering with private businesses that are putting on events, creating sponsorships so that they can put on better events that are great for tourists in town, but also create a better quality of living for the residents that live here. That's just one of the examples, but probably the most poignant right now of a public-private partnership that's going on is our relationship with the Omni Hotel and Resorts Group. So you might be familiar with it. We're just down the street, basically. We're opening a 5-star Omni Hotel and Resort connected to our brand new convention center experience. All of this rolls out in like 3 months, I think. You know, and this has been years and years and decades in the making, hard fighting by commissioners to make this happen, to show our community is going to that next level. And it's going to manifest as a amazing convention destination here, something we've never really been. We're booking out events right now to 2039. large-scale conventions that cities fight over, and they are tripping over themselves to select us. And this is a position we've never been in. We've always been in the shadow of the city to the south of us, the community to the north of us. And now we're stealing business from them because we're better. And that's amazing. That should be a clap. I don't know why I'm not clapping. But, I mean, they're great here, but we're awesome. So the partnership with Omni, though, is pretty awesome because it really turns into an opportunity not only to hire hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of your neighbors to work in the industry in good, high-paying jobs, but it trickles down into a lot of small business relationships that Sandy Michael is helping work through and make happen. So that the guests that stay in that hotel in turn create spending in all the downstream, the food and beverage, the amenities, all the janitorial supplies, you name it, whatever you need to run a business that throws millions and millions of dollars through it every year. So incredibly excited to see where that goes. And hopefully we're all over there at some point in the next couple of years so you can see what it's like.
Good morning, everybody. Simi, I'm gonna jump on what you said to start, and I'll say that I think our business in the ports, as well as everybody else's, I would gamble. It's all about the ships. It's all about the relationships, the partnerships, and the friendships. And yeah, and that is what makes, I think, these ventures successful. So there's dozens of examples within the port complex over the last decade plus. And if I can hone in on our South Port, our cargo area, where there's been a partnership to create a logistics center. Mayor Levy, you mentioned the FEC. There's an on-dock intermodal container transfer facility. So basically trains are arriving and departing within the port jurisdiction every day. And that is moving freight, that is moving goods to the tune of 60,000 or so containerized units, as well as some of the liquid bulk products that are coming into and out of the port and then servicing the region. So all of that, helps make our port more dynamic, and that's only because of those relationships, those partnerships, and those friendships. Now, we can look at so many other examples, but like I said, picking just one, I would say over the last decade, that's been a springboard for furthering our reach, right? Not just the cargo that's moving within 80 or 100 miles of Port Everglades, which is roughly 80% of all of our goods that move through the port stay within that realm. So that has been a differentiator for us.
Very good. So, Joe, let me just stay with you for a moment. And we know that, fuel volumes have hit record highs and the slip one expansion continues to progress. How are you working with the private sector to make sure that the infrastructure can handle future demand, and what impact do you think that will have on South Florida and our regional economy here?
Great. So yes, like I said, dozens of examples, Slip One and our fuel partners, the energy partners, one of our big three, right? We've got the energy, we've got cargo, we've got cruise. So on the energy sector, and each of those big three, they're having their own big three, it seems, every year. So last year they had their second best year on record with over 129 million barrels. And for context, that means roughly 1,400 fuel trucks with those tanks that are going to the local gas stations, 1,400 trucks a day on average in and out of the port. Now these facilities, including the pumps that are feeding these trucks, are operated on the private sector. But there's port land, there's some port infrastructure, but the private sector has really stepped up here in recent years and invested. Will be investing at the end of the day, nearly $100 million in manifold systems that make that offloading more efficient, smarter, easier. And through that, the port has responsibility to then match that infrastructure with roadways and access and connectivity to the final destination. So, the Slip One expansion is actually going to be addition by subtraction over the next few years. That's going to be widening a slip to accommodate larger vessels. And we're going to take away 150 feet of existing land and make a wider parking space, if you will, for vessels, for the energy vessels that are going to be coming in. So that project is in motion. We hope to have shovels in the ground here in the next 18 months.
Okay.
And see that one continue to support the ever-growing demand for energy products coming through Port Everglades. Thank you.
And Mayor, we know that Hollywood is really celebrating its 100-year anniversary this year. In what ways is the city encouraging, again, public-private partnerships to, again, create and to enhance neighborhoods and where people can actually live and work and play and everything else?
Yeah, so it is always presents exciting opportunities because government is not always the best at doing certain things, and anything the government does out of its own pocket is taxpayer money. And so we had an example leading up to our centennial. One of the exciting endeavors of our community was to redo and re-enhance a 250-acre golf course that historically was given to the city because then the residents who changed the orange groves and made a golf course in the 1930s or 40s couldn't afford the property tax and the maintenance of that golf course anymore. They turned it over to the city. Fast forward 70 years, we have a beautiful Orange Brook golf course that needed new energy. The tab would be $40 million to get it done. We did go through a general obligation bond where voters were willing to tax themselves to redo the golf course. Doing the police station, we're doing all kinds of things. Moss is building the police station, but we soon figured out that we weren't going to have enough money in the bond to take on the golf course project on our own. So public-private partnership comes in. We had an unsolicited proposal that came in. We had competition, and the winner of that now will be building our $40 million golf course at their own cost. And the trade-off for us, giving back to them and then making it worth their while, is to allow them to build 3 residential buildings on Pembroke Road and I-95, a golf resort hotel. They're going to build all our amenities as well. And so here we are leveraging public-private partnerships to bring forward a beautiful community asset, a new $40 million, 36-hole championship golf course designed by Reese Jones. If all of you any golfers here know, that's the Vince Lombardi of golf designers. And with that, we're going to be becoming Broward County's golf destination in Hollywood. And that leverages an opportunity to do more things. Do more things with Visit Lauderdale. It's not only Reese Jones and the Orange Brook course, we also have the Hollywood Beach golf course that's being completely redone and a Jack Nicklaus course coming to Emerald Hills. And we all know, of course, Shell Bay with his $1 million buy-in that's partially in Hollywood as well. So golf destination coming through public-private partnership for Broward County.
Love to hear it. Love to hear it. Okay. Sandy Michael, again, in your interview with Invest, you covered partnerships with the Greater Fort Lauderdale Alliance to support economic development in target industries. How have those actions sort of realized some positive outcomes for the business community here in Broward?
Oh, and even before I got here, that's the boom. And I see Dave's coming up later, but Todd's over there with the team and Olga. But the idea that you have a public-private partner. So I'm government. So at the end of the day, with bureaucracy, excuse me, Commissioner, it might take me 9 months to 2 years to get something done. However, that public-private partnership, that Greater Fort Lauderdale relationship, it affords them through an agreement that we have in target industries to have more access to assisting us in retaining, expanding, and recruiting business throughout 31 cities of Broward County. The upside to that is that it was always a QTI, Quality Target Initiative, from the state of Florida. State went away. But Broward County Board of Commissioners, with the support of the Alliance and the direction in our office, decided that the county would then create its own incentive. So now we have that same incentive, actually a little bit better than what it was with the state. It does require more dollars from the county and the partnership with the city. But the idea to what you're making mention of, to be able to sustain, expand, but more importantly, recruit new business and to use our business partners, to use our municipalities, to use our chambers, to use some of our what we call larger champions, who are all members of the Greater Fort Lauderdale Alliance, to make sure that the business and the communities who are looking to come can align themselves with different business and business owners. I jokingly say, but seriously say, billionaires don't want to talk to me. But I have billionaires who can talk to billionaires. And as we begin to recruit businesses in those operations, it is those champions who are a part of the Alliance on our behalf as a county who can create those relationships and help those businesses to transition into Broward. And then whatever we need to do as a government to solidify that, we then do so.
Yes. And, you know, we also, again, do need to really recognize the work of local government and county government, particularly our county commissioners and our city commissioners, for having that pro-business, progressive look forward that, again, incentivizes private sector activity. So these collaborations that you're speaking of are absolutely important. Anthony, tourism remains, again, this region's one of the strongest economic drivers. Tell us how Visit Lauderdale is partnering with other sectors to, again, drive and enhance the visitor experience.
Sure. So we partner with the Greater Fort Lauderdale Alliance. Is a great example of this, that kind of pro-business atmosphere here. So I know, David, I just saw you back somewhere over here, but it's really important to us that we are treating tourism like the gateway it is for new businesses to come here. You know, that's their first visit, right? Your first experience is when you go on vacation somewhere or when you visit family or something somewhere. It's an opportunity for us to sell people on the concept of either living here or bringing their business here or both. So one of those kind of ideas that blossoms out of that is how do we leverage our convention center, our new footprint over there, as a place that matches the goals of our economic development arms of the counties and the cities, right? So recently we started going after a lot of the aircraft side of the convention and meetings businesses. So that's aircraft financiers, maintenance organizations, that list goes on. There's a lot of conventions in that space. And we recognized in partnership with the Alliance that that's a target area for them, an opportunity for them to talk to these folks that come as a convention attendee and potentially pitch them on moving their business here when we see strength in that area around our amazing airport facilities and just a great business environment here. So it's that constant look of how can we manipulate our goal of bringing tourists here to really turn into something bigger, to have it be that first step that's then handed off to the Sandy Michael McDonald team or whomever to take those people and turn them into our next great business here.
Okay, and absolutely important on the same subject, tying into that actually, again, why don't we leave it with the mayor to talk to us again about how, what we can do relative to public, private, nonprofit leadership to ensure that these partnerships remain adaptable and that can get us through the next phase as we look forward to a stronger and vibrant Broward County.
Yeah, I'd say just keep an open mind. There are opportunities that sometimes us in government might not realize private industry can help us with, whether it's Fort Lauderdale looking to the private industry to help build a new water treatment plant, or for us finding a partner to help redo a golf course without spending taxpayer dollars. We're using University Station in downtown Hollywood to, as you said, stimulate the 3,000 units that are coming into downtown Hollywood and really creating an urban center. Being open-minded that when someone comes with an idea that's not, you know, the ordinary formula of government or business, to think about it and to see where the conversation goes. Keeping an open mind.
Yeah. Joe, what's your thought on that?
I'm going to steal a line from a mentor of mine from a couple of decades ago when I was working in the private sector. Have real conversations with people. I don't think that's a problem here. In the 10.5 months that I've been here now, there are a lot of great conversations that are happening. Open-mindedness to ideas and suggestions and you know, this collaborative spirit. It's really fantastic here. So don't let that go. Continue to have those real conversations, engage with folks. And you know, it might not be that first conversation that you have. It might be the 101st conversation that you have that leads to something. But keep having those conversations with each other.
Anthony?
So I got homework for everybody. Actually, I'm going to hijack this for a second here. So all of you are part of a conference or an association that represents the business you are in, right? You travel around the world to go to those meetings once or every couple of years. We want to bring those here. We want to showcase our community, right? And it's an opportunity potentially for you to showcase your business as well. Imagine that we bring your association to town, they hold their conference here and you're the keynote at it, or you're one of the big leaders at it, or they get to tour your facility. That's a real opportunity and it's a real way to leverage what we've got here. So take 2 seconds after this, throw your card at me so I can reach out to you and just harass you until you give me the name of your association. Promise it won't be too painful. But that is very important. You know, it's big. You play a part in growing what we are building as well. So thank you.
All right, and then Michael, we're gonna leave the last word with you on that same question. What should we be thinking about to really encourage this cross-sector, private partner relationships?
I'll piggyback a little bit off of Joe. It's not just about having that conversation, but having that conversation, recognizing and respecting. You need to try to make it a win-win for everyone. The whole idea of collaboration, the whole idea of continuing to create the synergy going forward and creating new ideas and deciding who can collaborate, who can work together. When you're having those conversations, it should be genuine and authentic about trying to make sure that there's a win-win for both partners. And that's going to sustain what we now know as public-private relationships, and is going to invite more individuals, as Tony is saying, about wanting to throw that business card at him because he wants to make it a win-win for everyone.
All right, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, can we give our panel a